Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. It's Maria. Today we are doing another Dollar Tree DIY challenge. Let's get to it. Okay, so my son went and got these for me so I can create something. So this one was a tough one. A lot of the stuff that he got, I believe, were like more summer stuff or spring stuff, but it's okay. I managed to do one thing with it, and then I'm going to create something else. But I'm going to start doing Christmas decorations. So I'm going to work with what I have here to do one Christmas decoration, and then I'll post the second video on Friday. Okay, so I wasn't sure what I was going to do first. I started looking at this and I was going to work with this, but couldn't think of anything off the top of my head, but I do have an idea now. But I decided to go with the pencil holder from the dollar store, and I am going to start by using my wire cutters to cut the top rim off and then cut the bottom rim off and then open it up in the middle. Okay, so this one was a bit tough because the little holes on this was like really small, so I had to make sure that I cut where I was cutting. So it took me a little longer than I expected, but I got it done. I did cut it, and then I opened it up to stretch it out a little bit so it can like I try to flatten it out the best that I could before I move on to the next thing. Okay, so these pieces of wood I picked up at Home Depot about a month ago because I was gonna do something with it, but I didn't do what I was gonna do with it, so I had them there, and I decided to use these pieces for what I'm doing now. So I am gonna do a wood frame around this net. So I need to measure the wood, the size that I needed it. I believe that was 13 inches. And then for the sides, I cut 6 inches. So after I marked the wood, I used my miter saw to cut the 2 pieces of 13 inches and then 2 pieces of 6 inches. And then I cut the sides 45-degree angle to make the frame that I needed for this net that was around the cup. But yeah, keep watching. Okay, so this piece of wood had like a really flat side, and then the upward side was like kind of curvy, so it was perfect for to make a frame for this net that I was using. And then so I used the wood glue the Gorilla wood glue to glue the pieces together, and then I used my green painter's tape to hold that in place while it's drying in place. And then I grabbed the net from the cup that I cut off, and I start to measure in place because I will be stapling that to the wood, but I'm going to paint all of that stuff before I do that. Since this was like a cup, it has like this curve, so I wanted to make sure that I didn't leave any open like corners on on the frame. So I wanted to make sure that it was like exact. I probably should have cut it in a little bit more. Like the wood, instead of being 13 inches, I should have just did it 12. But it worked out fine because I ended up just, working it out, and then the corner, I do something for that little piece that doesn't cover in the corner. But there were some sharp edges on here, so I used these pliers to flatten it out a little bit because they were like poking my fingers. So if you're gonna do this, please be careful, because they do have some sharp edges. So I ended up using that to flatten out the edges a little bit, so it won't be too sharp and it won't cut you or anything. So like I said, just be careful when, if you do that. Moving forward, I do paint this in a white spray paint, and then I also do the flowers. But I ended up picking up the flowers that he bought, like he picked up for me, and I only used two, and I was like playing around with it just to see like which ones I was gonna use, and I decided to use two flowers, one from each of the bunches that he gave me, and then I put them together to create one flower. But you will see how that turns out. Right here I'm just like trying to figure out which one I was going to use, if I was going to use one or the other. I did have some berries from like another flower that I already had on hand, and the believe I also already had that on hand, but I put them on a styrofoam board, and then like a piece of styrofoam, I put them on there, and then I do end up spray painting those in a metallic silver, but you'll see how they turn out. So as always, everything that I use in this video will be listed in the description box below. So moving forward, I painted these, like the believe sign, I painted in red, and I used Crimson Red by Waverly, and I also painted the frame in red. So once I painted everything and let everything dry, I then stapled that piece to the back of it. I only use one coat on this. I did do like top, the sides, and the inside of that frame. I did not do the back of the believe sign, and I did not do the back of the frame. I did want to make sure that all the sides were done, and like the inner part of that was in red. So yeah, I only used one coat of that. So any spots that I did miss, I did go back with the brush and fill that part in. So I made sure that everything was completely covered. So now I'm just grabbing my staple gun and I'm stapling them in place. I did have a hard time with one corner because it just, I guess the staple wasn't going into the holes. It just kept hitting that metal piece. So it was a little harder for it to like, and I kept using the flyers to pull them out because it just wasn't, one side would go in but the other side wouldn't. So once I got that in place and I got it all done, and it worked out fine. I ended up just flipping it over, and I want to put the believe sign. So after I grabbed my hot glue gun, but then, you know, to get that ready. While that's heating up, I grab the flowers and I start to put the flowers together. Apologize, I really did think that I caught that on video, but I realized and I moved back. I had moved back when I did it, but that's the one that was like more the white one. It's in silver. Like I said, I used a spray paint. I used metallic silver by Rest-oleum, and I only did one coat for the flowers, and then I let them dry. I do spray paint my stuff outside, not indoors. And if you do something indoor, make sure that it's a well ventilated area, windows open, door open, whatever it may be. Just make sure that you are not inhaling this stuff because it's not good for you. So anyway, after I put the flowers together, I put the berries in the middle, and because I put both flowers together, the lily that was there, and then whatever white flower that was. So it was purple, the lily was purple, and then I put the other piece together. So I glue those pieces together, and then I glue them onto the frame, and then I put some spots of the glue on the word believe, and then I glued that to the back of that. So that's pretty much done, but I wanted this to stand. I didn't want to put it on the wall. So I wanted it to stand. Well, not just yet, at least, because I do plan on putting it on the wall. But I did have some Jenga blocks, and I glued some Jenga blocks to the bottom of that so it can stand. And I can put that on my shelf. But I hope you liked this video. It was really quick and easy. I will be posting another one with the supplies that I got from here, that my son picked out for me on Friday's video as well. But I hope you liked this video. Please like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching. Bye.